Hi guys, welcome to today's lesson. Today we will continue with the food chain that we started to do last week. So hopefully you did the homework and that should help us to understand this part of the lesson. So let's get started. Please look in your science book. We will start on page 37 of section 3, energy flow in the environment. But like I said at the beginning, we learned last week in the experiment that the living things inside the box need food for their living. So if they don't have food, they won't live. They will die. They are linked to one another as food sources in a food chain. That is, the energy moves from one living thing to another food chain. The living things in every habitat feed on one another from producers and consumers. So the energy moves from one living thing to another. This order is called a food chain. A food chain starts from plants that get light energy from the sun and use it to make their food. They keep this food as starch in different parts of their body. So plants are producers in a food chain. On the other hand, animals cannot make their own food. So they have to eat plants or other animals to get energy for their living. So animals are consumers in a food chain. In this picture here, the sun is giving the energy to the plants to make food. The caterpillar eats the plant and gets energy. But look, there is 4 bars of energy on the plant. On the caterpillar, there is 3 bars of energy. So there is less energy to the caterpillar. The frog eats the caterpillar and the energy is less. You can see now there is only 2. So we have half of the energy from the plant. And then the snake eats the frog. So the energy goes from the frog to the snake. And the snake has less energy. So now we only have 1/4 of the energy from the plant. So each time you go down the food chain or along the food chain, the energy gets less. You can see here these squares shows how much energy moves in the food chain. The more we go in the food chain, the less energy is moved. Okay, so let's go to the next part. Living things in a food chain have different roles as follows. Producers are the living things that make their own food through photosynthesis and keep it as starch. They are plants and algae. Some people say algae. It's the same, it doesn't matter. Consumers are the living things that do not make their own food. They live by eating other living things. There are three kinds of consumers. As you can see here, the picture of the grass. The grass is a producer. It produces the food, the energy for other living things. Herbivores are animals that eat plants only. Example, elephants, horses, cattle, caterpillars, rabbits, and small fishes. Carnivores are animals that eat other animals only. Example, frogs, snakes, lions, tigers, crocodiles, falcons, and foxes. Okay, they all only eat meat. Omnivores are animals that eat both plants and other animals. Example, dogs, cats, turtles, monkeys, rats, chickens, and humans. Okay. You might be surprised that dogs and cats and maybe monkeys are omnivores. But dogs and cats, they do eat plants. Monkeys also eat insects. They eat other animals, so they don't just eat plants, not just bananas. In addition, some food chains also have some living things that eat dead plants and animals. These living things are called scavengers. Example, earthworms, millipedes, vultures, and termites. Okay, so here is a picture of an earthworm, a picture of the millipede. You see these a lot here in Thailand. Some of them are quite big. And the vulture. I don't think you have vultures in Thailand. But these will eat dead, rotting vegetation or plants and animals. Science fact. In a habitat, there is another kind of living thing that eats dead plants and animals by breaking them down. They are called decomposers. Example, bacteria, fungi, and mushrooms. Some people say fungi, but again, it's the same. It's just different. Okay, so now your favorite part. Homework! I want you this week to create your own food chain picture. For example, I have made one for you to see. But please do not copy my example. Here is the picture. Okay, so we can see here the energy goes from the grass to the caterpillar, from the caterpillar to the frog, from the frog to the snake, from the snake to the eagle. The energy, the arrows point in the direction of the energy flow. So the arrows are not showing who eats who, it's showing the energy. So here I have a big fat arrow to the caterpillar, and then a slightly thinner arrow to the frog, and then from the frog to the snake, a thinner arrow, and from the snake to the eagle I have a very thin arrow. With the arrows being thin, the more you go, it shows how the energy gets less as you go through the food chain or along the food chain. Make your own, take a photo and send it to the science room, and I will see you for the next lesson. Bye!